I was on my way to a rendezvous with a Coast Guard cutter in a busy harbor. Overnight, the harbor had been paralyzed into total inactivity. A ship had been trying to reach port after an internal explosion, but it had gone down just a few minutes too soon. It was in the worst possible place, right in the heart of the main channel, blocking everything. Ordinarily, the ship would be easy to refloat or clear away, but now everything had stopped cold. The first workmen down had discovered that the ship was radioactive. They'd gotten out of there fast. Now the scientists and the Coast Guard had taken over. When I found out what the problem was, I volunteered as a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. I was to check the ship with a waterproof radiation counter to confirm just how dangerous it might be. Though no amount of radioactivity underwater could contaminate the harbor, it was important to find out if the ship itself could be worked on. So far, the Geiger readings seemed to be normal. Suddenly, they took a tremendous jump. I stayed just long enough to spot the source of the trouble. Then I left in a hurry. That sign and the red danger flag spelled out the same message: keep away.
No signs of contamination so far.
It's plenty hot down there, though. I thought this radiation cutter was going to jump right out of my head.
Just exactly what did you see down there?
Something pretty eerie. Inside that special cabin, Cabin X, there was quite a bit of debris. But within that debris and around it, there was sort of a bluish-green glow.
Sarin-Cove radiation.
What's that?
You get that when radioactive rays are escaping and affect water molecules. It produces a halo, just as you described.
Is it dangerous?
Very. It means that the radioactive capsule is open and the capsule is lying loose. It couldn't be worse.
You know, I thought I saw a lead bucket down there, like this one. It was over on its side, and the lid was off.
That's what it was. An explosion of compressed gas within the capsule container. What Mike calls the lead bucket. And now the radioactive slug is lying loose.
What can we do now?
Well, what we need is a universal coffin.
Not for me, I hope.
It's a thing about the size of a large cannon. Has a long hollow center. Weighs about 20 ton. We use it to handle radioactive slugs through the hollow with a long-handled pole.
Well, it'd be impossible for me to handle something like that down there.
Fortunately, water tends to compress and confine radiation. We have this lead shield.
If it were lowered into position, you and your partner, the one we are assigning to you, could work from behind it. What you will have to do is get a grip on the radioactive pellet with this device on the end of the pole and lift it back into an undamaged container.
Well, that much shouldn't be too difficult.
Except for one thing, the Rankine count. That's the amount of radiation your body can absorb.
Well, that's going to be blocked by the lead shield. I mean, that's what it's for, isn't it?
Even with the lead shield, your time is extremely limited. especially when you get a grip on the radioactive pellet and swing it far out in front of you. And though the pole is a long one, nevertheless, one slip could cause a long, agonizing death from an overdose of radiation.
Well, you said that I was going to have a partner. I'll take care of the diving safety. Let him handle the pole.
He wouldn't be able to do that as well as you. And besides, he's needed to watch the Rankine count and take care of radiation safety. Your lives will depend on it. And besides, he wouldn't have your reach with the pole.
Why? Is he that small?
Actually, he isn't a he. He's a she. One of the first 6 graduates of radiation biology.
Hi.
How do you do, Mr. Nelson? Has he been briefed?
Partially. Miss Kenyon was flown in because she is a proficient scuba diver as well as a radiation safety expert. It will be her job to see to your safety from the moment you approach Cabin X until you get back up here.
That's great. Looks like this job's going to be a very pleasant one.
I doubt that very much, Mr. Nelson. There won't be anything pleasant about it. The outer layer of your skin is only 0.02 of an inch thick. You'll need a little more protection than that wetsuit.
Mike, Miss Kenyon is obviously a pretty girl, but she is also a top-ranked scientist. She is one of the best specialists working within the National Committee on Radiation Protection. She and she alone will determine your tolerance limits.
I may look like the chummy type, but I'm not that chummy. Am I understood?
Okay, boss. So far as I was concerned, Susie was still on trial. I had no doubt that she was well qualified, but things can be very different underwater. One more item had been added to our equipment before we came down. Underwater telephones. Each of us was wearing a throat mic and a headset connecting us with the surface. If anything went wrong unexpectedly, the men on the deck above us would know, from Susie's reports, exactly what had happened. lead shield, along with our wetsuits and gloves, would give us enough protection to enable us to work. But the radioactivity from the deadly pellet could penetrate almost anything that close, if there was any carelessness whatsoever. The shield would be a help, but it was no guarantee of safety. I had to give Susie credit. She put her shoulder right into the work. He reminded me again that my time would be severely limited. 10 minutes. I was reluctantly concluding that I might have been unfair about Susie. She did seem to handle herself very ably, both as a specialist in radiation safety and as a diver. There was a sureness in her movements and decisions that spoke well for her, and that I was genuinely glad to see. I've known quite a few undersea dangers. Moray eels, sharks, killer whales. But at least they were things that you could see and feel and fight. Radiation sickness was something else again. Something that almost literally could melt the bones in the strongest body. Just the thought of it made my flesh crawl. But this definitely was the wrong time to think about it.
Sarenkov radiation much stronger. Surrounding debris being moved aside. Nelson exposed, reaching around shield. Roentgen count rising. Still a good margin on absorption limits. Clear evidence of gamma rays. Handling pole should have been just a little bit longer. Nelson was leaned too far beyond shield. Tolerance time will have to be reduced. Roentgen count at 30.
It's rising much too fast.
The rate of radiation absorption?
Yes. She'll have to be extremely alert, and sometimes that's very difficult when you're working underwater.
Cabin litter pushed aside. Pellet now fully visible. Roentgen count much higher. Dosage near 50.
Dosage near 50. I don't like that. Susie! Susie!
Roentgen count going up rapidly. I'm terminating.
Each time I had leaned around the shield, I had suffered a direct exposure. My fate rested entirely on Susie's judgments of the dosage levels of radiation. If she had done her job well, I still had a safe margin. If not, I was in the worst kind of trouble. My assignment was to retrieve a deadly radioactive capsule and restore it to a lead container without exposing myself to gamma radiation that could take my life. Radiation specialist Susie Kenyon was diving with me to see that I didn't absorb more than the maximum permissible dosage. She and her fellow scientist, Bryant Henry, were checking sensitive strips of film. I had been wearing them inside my wetsuit to help determine whether I had already received a critical absorption. What's the verdict? Are you gonna operate?
There is a definite blackening.
And the microscope showed signs of proton tracks. But you're still well on the safe side. Miss Kenyon seems to be taking very good care of you.
She is indeed.
I think he can certainly make at least one more dive.
One more trip down should do it.
Okay, back into your wetsuits, both of you.
The time had come to go for broke. The radioactive capsule was out where it could be snagged. This was the lead container in which the capsule had to be placed. It would be a delicate, nerve-wracking job, and handled with care would be written all over it. But I felt very confident now that the job could be done, barring the unexpected.
Container now in position. Roentgen count being resumed. Considerable capsule contamination is apparent. Sarenkov halo is much more pronounced than before. Nelson now reaching for pellet. Water movement has pushed it just a little further out of reach than before. Nelson well out beyond shielding, taking much greater exposure. Absorption time limit must be reduced further. Ren can count it. Ren can count.
Miss Kenyon! Miss Kenyon! Susie! Mike, is there anything wrong with Miss Kenyon? Check, please! Check, please!
The unexpected had happened. It was Susie who had been stricken. With what, I didn't know. And I hated to guess.
Well, whatever it was had nothing to do with radiation.
I was sure it couldn't. Suddenly, I felt like I was smothering.
I know what happened to you. You just forgot to breathe, that's all. Now, we've been working under too much tension.
I was very tense, but I wouldn't forget to breathe.
You had plenty of air in your tank, but you just weren't breathing enough of it. And underwater, air starvation like that can black you out all of a sudden.
Now that I know what it is, I can watch for it. I'll get my gear.
No, you won't. You're staying put. No more diving for you for, or at least 4 hours.
Okay, boss.
4 hours? It'll be dark by then.
Then we can't resume until tomorrow.
Yeah, that capsule is lying free down there. Any strong water movement, no telling what might happen to it. It's got to be put back into its container right now.
You're willing to go down there alone?
Do we have a choice? I think it'll work out all right. You can still guide me and time me by phone from up here.
I'm not so sure.
Susie's got all the dope. The Rankin count so far, and the absorption rate working around the shield. You figure out the very lowest tolerance limit possible, and I'll abide by it. When you say terminate, I'll terminate.
You promise?
Susie, I've seen the effects of radiation on metal. I keep imagining what it might do to the human body. Believe me, I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Mike, I shouldn't let you try it.
There are quite a few scientists in your field who shouldn't try certain things, but they do, every day.
But letting you go down there alone is still a bad risk.
It's gotta be done. Thanks, Susie. Sorry. They had figured out precisely how much time I'd have before I passed the absolute tolerance limit. 3 minutes, no more. Even so, I had to remain in the shelter of the shield as much as possible. I was even using the handling pole now to remove the top from the lead container because of its exposed position beyond the shield. From the deck, I heard Henry's voice telling me that 1 minute was gone. Now I had only 2 minutes left in which to snag the capsule itself and slide it into the container.
One minute plus 30 seconds.
Capsule hard to hold. slipping off prong. Keep trying. Give me countdown in seconds, please.
1 minute, 59 seconds, 58 seconds, 57 seconds.
I was too anxious. I knew it. It was hard not to be anxious, knowing how swiftly the seconds were slipping by.
"30 seconds, 29, 28.
There could be no fumble now. There'd be no time to try again. Once I swung it out, the radiation dosage would be at its peak. It'd have to be done in one smooth motion.
Two, 1, 0. Terminate. Terminate! Terminate! Acknowledge, please. Acknowledge! Terminate!
Mike, terminate!
Got it. Capsule in. Sealing container. Terminating. I still don't know how you read these things.
Take my word for it, you're still intact. But you've carried your radiation count to the absolute limit. For the next 2 months, you'd better not even have a tooth x-ray.
Well, I wasn't worried. I was just petrified a little, that's all.
Just the same, we'll keep you under close observation for at least 2 weeks. Susie, that'll be your sign.
Starting with dinner tonight?
Starting with dinner tonight.
Got a date.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.
My name's Nelson, Mike Nelson. 50 weeks in the year, I'm a professional skin diver. The other 2, I take a vacation. How do I spend it? Skin diving, of course. Where? Well, this year I'd picked Nassau in the Bahamas. But there was no sense trying to explore everything in one day. I had 2 wonderful weeks for that. And then there was a lot to see above water, too. I'd go to my room, take a shower, and then explore Nassau topside. This vacation was going to be spent just the way I wanted. For once, no one was going to tell me what to do.
Mike Nelson?
Yeah?
All right, Vince.
My vacation was over. And maybe my career as a skin diver, too. My visitors meant no harm, except to my vacation plans. Vincent Rica and Nancy Stewart were here in Nassau on orders from the United States Secret Service to find something that had only been lost since World War II.
Those days, the Nazis were pretty active down around here. They operated out of a little country called San Carlos. You know it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they paid off their stooges in counterfeit American dollars. Only the last payroll plane never made it. It crashed off the coast, somewhere inside the 3-mile limit.
With $2 million worth of these on board.
$2 million?
You can't tell in here, but under a special light, you can see the salt water stains.
Well, then this means that they've already found them, huh?
Yeah, but only 11 of these have turned up. So chances are we can probably get most of the $2 million back.
Why doesn't Washington ask San Carlos to get them back?
They did. San Carlos promised to find the wreck and catch the salvages. They didn't. It's our move now. We're on our own, unofficially, Mike. What do you say?
What do I say?
Can do?
Well, I don't know. In the first place, I'll need all my equipment and...
You've got it.
I have?
The Coast Guard's got your own boat standing by at Prince George Dock right now.
Oh, you were pretty fast, don't you?
And Nancy here will be a lot of help to you.
What do you mean, she's gonna go with me?
I'm a qualified diver, Mike.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
And look, where you're going, they speak Spanish, right? I speak Spanish.
She's also a very good cook.
You are? Okay, it's a deal. Always hate doing my own cooking. It's only a short run from Nassau to San Carlos. But it was long enough for us to work up a fairly convincing story about why we wanted to explore the offshore waters. They happen to be happy hunting grounds for dolphins. We decided to represent ourselves as marine biologists. And I won the honor of selling that idea to Senor Arturo Mendez, the San Carlos Minister of Marine. Senor Mendez seemed to do pretty well for himself. 5 minutes' talk with His Excellency explained how he did it. Not just through charm. He had judgment, too, such as, well, he knew when to apply pressure and where.
Nothing would please me more, senor, than to have you study the dolphins of San Carlos. Only some of my fellow citizens might object.
I don't understand why.
What makes men do anything? Love and fear. Love of money, fear of losing it. Your researches might cost our fishermen a catch or two. Life is hard for them, senor.
I see.
Indeed, without the emergency fund maintained by this ministry, many of them would starve. Regrettably, the fund is depleted now. Until it is replenished, there is nothing I can do.
Oh, thanks, just the same.
When it is replenished, senor, your request will present no difficulties.
Oh, I wonder, senor, this fund of yours...
It is not mine, senor. I am merely the administrator.
Well, does the fund accept contributions from private individuals?
In what amounts?
Oh, say, $500?
I have no choice, senor, but to accept such a contribution on behalf of the fund.
Make this up to you, senor, as administrator.
Please. The fishermen of San Carlos thank you, senor. May good fortune attend your research. You will have your permits within the hour.
The coastline of San Carlos is only 53 miles long, and we were able to rule out the inshore fishing grounds in advance. Had the plane come down there, by now some trawler would have snagged the wreckage in its drag lines. That left a relatively small area for searching, and with an underwater TV camera to sweep the ocean floor for us, it didn't look like too rough a job. But for quite a while, all that came up was sun-dappled pictures of ocean floor. Then we spotted something a lot more interesting. Just what, we couldn't be sure.
Do you think we found it?
I don't know. Maybe. I'll tell you in a few minutes.
Hey, aren't you gonna let me help?
Yeah, sure. I haven't tasted that cooking of yours yet. Bake a cake.
See you on TV.
Nancy saw me on TV, all right. But what did I see? A coral-covered anchor. So it was back to looking at the ocean floor again. Another hour. The scenery was beautiful, but that wasn't what we were after. Then suddenly, there it was. What we were looking for. It had to be.
That's it, Mike. That's the plane.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's a tail assembly, anyway. Finding the rest of it, though, and the money might not be this easy.
Alone, no. But if you let me help, it'll be a cinch.
I'm gonna check this out alone first. It might be booby-trapped.
I anchored a buoy over the target area, then headed down toward the wreck. It wasn't booby-trapped, except by Father Neptune. He had planted some spiny sea urchins aboard. The rest of the wreckage was nowhere in sight. I was going to need help, lots of it, to find that counterfeit loot. Nancy was more than willing to join the search party. She belonged in the Secret Service. She found the first money box. It opened easily, too easily for anything underwater all this time, which meant the other salvagers had opened it first and removed a few samples.
I still don't understand why, Mike. Why didn't they take it all once they found it?
I have no idea. Unless they had to clear out all of a sudden. And when they came back, they couldn't find the wreck.
Well, it's lucky for us they quit.
Looks like they're back on the job again.
I think they wrecked our compressor.
Yeah, I guess they figured they'd put us out of business once we let them back to the wreck.
Are we out of business?
I don't know. I think I can fix it. It's more important that I fix them.
Oh.
Now look at them. They might have glasses.
You think that's where they came from?
Yeah. And I'm going to invite them back.
What are you? Go ahead with what?
Do some pasting. If our mystery guests did come back, we'd be waiting for them. Not on board, of course. 20 feet below our cruiser instead, where we could spot anything coming alongside. We didn't have to wait very long. Come on aboard.
Well, at least you got one of them.
Yeah. He'll tell us what we want to know. If he doesn't tell us, he'll tell Commissioner Mendes. Come on, you. We were so sure we had it made that Nancy went to cable the good news, in code, to her partner, Vince Rica.
Rest assured, my friends, we shall catch the other conspirator also. So, even though you found no dolphins, you did find a treasure.
Only a part of it. I'm sorry that we misled you, Senor Mendes.
Ah, in a good cause. Perhaps it may benefit the poor fishermen of San Carlos.
Oh, I'm afraid not. The treasure happens to be counterfeit.
You're joking.
No, you see, the money was manufactured by the Nazis. Nobody knew it, of course, not even their paymaster here.
Senor, do we have your permission to continue our work?
How long will it take?
Oh, the wreck is scattered over a wide area. I'd say, a week or more, maybe.
These next few days usually are the best in the year for our fishermen.
Oh, well, we wouldn't want your fishermen to suffer without compensation.
Oh, no, Senor Nelson. Already you have been too generous. No, please.
Well, is there anything else we can do?
I don't think so. Oh, wait. There is a brisk market, I am told, for unusual war documents. You may find some such curiosities in the wreckage. If so, the proceeds might bring great benefits.
To the emergency fund?
Exactly.
Well, I don't know if we'll find anything like that down there, but...
But if you do, you will make them available, huh?
Oh, certainly. We want to do everything that we can to help the fund.
Thank you, Senor. Senorita.
The next morning, we went down to work again. To speed up the search, we split our forces once more. Perhaps it was a woman's intuition. Once again, she found something before I did. What I found wasn't a money box this time, but a dispatch case encrusted with coral. Nancy was all for taking it topside right away, but I vetoed that one, because our first job was finding counterfeit 10 spots. So I stashed the dispatch case for a later pickup. Nancy seemed to want to surface in a hurry. Nancy? You bushed?
Yeah.
Now, let's take this off you, huh? Just sit down.
Thank you. I'm all right, Mike. Just give me a few minutes rest.
Okay. By that time, I'll be up again.
With the dispatch case, please.
Yeah, personal favor to you. Matter of fact, I was kind of curious about that case myself. Apparently, there were others who were curious about that case, too. With my hands free, I decided to meet these troublemakers head on. As soon as his spear missed, one of them beat a fast retreat. That gave me better odds with the other fella.
Now I recognized my prisoner. I had arrested him the day before. What was going on?
Nancy! Hey, Nancy! Nancy, where are you?
In here, Senor Nelson. She's my prisoner. I will take the dispatch case, please.
So you were the Nazi paymaster of San Carlos, huh?
An outrageous slander. Now put down the case. Glorious day, Senor Nelson. Truly. A pity it is your last as a free man.
Yeah, it's funny. Now that you were my prisoner.
Until we reach the harbor.
Yeah. And the harbor police take over.
You forget, Senor. The harbor police are under my command. Buenos dias, compañeros. Arrest this man. And his woman also.
Si, Senor Commissioner. On what charge?
Conspiracy, assault. I will present particulars another time. And for the moment, take the rope off my wrist.
Would you like to hear my side of this?
Have you lost your senses? I gave you an order.
He follows mine, Senor. Presidente Blanco himself authorized me to arrest you.
On what charge?
Treason. The particulars will be presented later when the American agent arrives from Washington.
His name wouldn't be Rica by any chance.
It is. You uncovered evidence linking Senor Mendez to the Nazis during the war.
Lies! Slander!
Not according to what's in this case. Every paper is countersigned by a man named Hitler, including his instructions to his paymaster here, Senor Arturo Mendez. Yeah.
Come, Senor.
Good work. What do you say, woman? Shall we go down and get the rest of that money before Vince gets here?
What's your hurry?
I want to get this job over with. I'm on my vacation, remember? Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.